Have you ever wondered why some people attract wealth effortlessly, while others chase it their entire lives? It's almost as if money has a mind of its own. It runs from some and runs toward others. But what if I told you there's a simple phrase, just a few words, that can begin to magnetically pull wealth toward you? Sounds unbelievable, right? But stay with me, because this phrase has the power to rewire the way your mind interacts with money, opportunity, and success. Let me ask you something. How do you feel when you think about money? Do you feel calm, confident, abundant, or do you feel anxious, unworthy, maybe even undeserving? Most people don't realize this, but wealth doesn't begin in your wallet. It begins in your words, because words are thoughts spoken out loud, and thoughts are the blueprint of your reality. You can't attract prosperity while repeating the language of lack. You can't receive abundance while speaking words of fear. So what's this phrase that changes everything? Here it is, simple but powerful. I am open to receive wealth in all its forms. Say it slowly. Say it with belief. Say it as if the universe is listening, because it is. This phrase works because it breaks the inner resistance that most people carry. You see, money doesn't flow to those who need it most. It flows to those who are ready to receive it. When you say, I am open, you tell your subconscious, it's safe for me to be rich. It's safe for me to have more than enough. It's safe for me to succeed. You stop pushing wealth away through guilt, fear, or self-doubt, and start inviting in with trust and gratitude. Think of it like tuning a radio. The music has always been there. It's just that your frequency was off. Wealth is the same. The opportunities, ideas, and connections are already around you. You just weren't tuned to the frequency of receiving. When you say that phrase, you're adjusting your inner dial. You're aligning your energy with abundance instead of scarcity. I once met a man who was brilliant, hardworking, creative, disciplined, but always broke. He'd say things like, I'm not the kind of person who gets lucky, or I don't care about money. And the universe listened. Then one day, he changed his words. Every morning, he stood in front of the mirror and said, I am open to receive wealth in all its forms. Within months, he got a promotion, a new business idea, and unexpected financial help from a friend. He didn't chase wealth found him. Here's the truth. Your life is always listening to your language. If you speak from fear, fear expands. If you speak from faith, faith expands. So imagine saying that phrase not once, but every day with real conviction. Imagine watching your energy shift, your mindset change, your opportunities multiply, because they will. Here are some key points related to this. Wealth begins with your words, not your wallet. The phrase, I am open to receive wealth in all its forms, unlocks your subconscious permission to prosper. You attract what you're emotionally ready to receive, not what you merely desire. Your language shapes your financial reality. Change your words, and your results follow. Abundance is like a radio frequency. When you tune in, you start hearing the music. You don't have to chase money. Align your energy, and money will chase you. Wealth begins with your words, not your wallet. It's a truth that sounds almost poetic, but it's the foundation of every transformation story you've ever heard. You see, before a person builds a business, earns a fortune, or changes their destiny, something far more powerful happens inside them. They start speaking differently. The tone of their language shifts from limitation to possibility. They stop saying, I can't afford that, and start saying, how can I afford that? They stop saying, money is hard to make, and begin to whisper, wealth flows easily to me. Those subtle changes are like turning the key in the ignition of abundance. I once met a woman named Sarah who worked tirelessly, juggling 2 jobs just to pay rent. Every time she received her paycheck, she'd sigh and say, it's never enough. That phrase became her reality. No matter how much she earned, life seemed to find ways to take it away. Unexpected bills, broken appliances, medical costs. One day, while attending a workshop on mindset, she heard the phrase, your words are commands to your reality. It struck her. That night, instead of complaining, she decided to change her dialogue. She looked at her wallet and said softly, you are expanding. More is coming. It sounded silly at first, but she kept doing it every single day. Within months, she was offered a better paying position, started a small online business, and somehow opportunities began showing up out of nowhere. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. Words carry vibration. Every syllable you speak has a frequency, and that frequency draws experiences to match it. When you constantly talk about struggle, the universe mirrors that struggle back to you. But when you speak abundance, confidence, and gratitude, your environment reshapes itself to fit your new tone. It's as if life listens and says, "Ah, this is what you believe. Let me give you more of it." Even ancient wisdom echoes this truth. The Bible says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Modern psychology confirms it through affirmations and self-talk theories. What you say repeatedly becomes what your subconscious believes, and your subconscious controls 95% of your daily actions and outcomes. Think about this. When a child learns to walk, we don't say, "You'll never do it." We encourage them with words. "You can do it. Keep going." Those words give them courage to try again. But as adults, we stop speaking to ourselves with that same kindness. We use harsh, limiting language. "I'm not smart enough. I'll never be rich. That's just not possible for someone like me." And every time we repeat those phrases, we reinforce the walls of our own prison. Yet, the key has always been in our mouth. If your words have been creating lack, they can also create abundance. Imagine waking up tomorrow and saying aloud, "I am open to receive wealth in all its forms." Imagine feeling that truth vibrate through your chest, even before you see results. That's how transformation begins, not with money in your hand, but with faith on your tongue, whispering life into your future before it arrives. The phrase, "I am open to receive wealth in all its forms," may sound simple, almost too simple to be powerful. But the moment those words leave your lips with belief, something invisible begins to shift within you. It's like unlocking a door that's been sealed shut for years, not by the world, but by your own doubt. Most people walk through life wanting abundance, yet unconsciously pushing away. They say they want money, but deep inside, a quiet voice whispers, "I don't deserve it," or "It's not for people like me." That inner conflict blocks the flow of wealth long before any opportunity even arrives. Saying this phrase is not just about attracting money. It's about giving yourself permission to receive. Think about it. How many times have you rejected small blessings without realizing it? Someone offers to pay for your meal and you insist, No, I can't let you do that." A friend compliments your talent, and you brush it off saying, "Oh, it's nothing." Every time you do that, you tell the universe, "I'm not open to receive." The energy of abundance knocks at your door, and you politely decline the invitation. But when you start saying, "I am open to receive wealth in all its forms," you begin retraining your heart to say yes. You start noticing that wealth is not just money. It's kindness, opportunities, peace of mind, good health, and time to enjoy what you love. I once heard about a man named Daniel who struggled financially despite working hard. He was the kind of person who would help everyone, lend money, share advice, and never ask for anything in return. One day, his mentor told him, "Daniel, you're not poor because you don't earn enough. You're poor because you don't allow enough in." That sentence hit him deeply. For the first time, he realized that receiving wasn't selfish. It was part of the cycle. Just as breathing in is as important as breathing out, receiving is as vital as giving. From that day on, Daniel started every morning by saying, "I am open to receive wealth in all its forms." At first, nothing seemed to change. But slowly, people began offering him collaborations. Unexpected clients reached out, and old debts were repaid. He didn't force or chase anything. It came naturally because he was finally aligned with receiving. The beauty of this phrase lies in its openness. It doesn't limit wealth to a paycheck or a number in your bank account. It says in all its forms, acknowledging that abundance can come in ways beyond logic, through chance encounters, divine timing, or inspired ideas. When you say it with sincerity, you stop controlling how blessings should appear, and that's when they arrive in ways you never imagined. The universe responds to readiness, not desperation. So when you speak this phrase, speak it from a place of calm expectation, not fear or urgency. Feel the words sink into your spirit like warm light, melting away resistance. In that moment, you're not begging for wealth. You're aligning with it, embracing it, welcoming a home where it always belonged. You attract what you're emotionally ready to receive, not what you merely desire. This is one of the hardest truths for people to accept, yet it explains so much of what happens in life. We often think wanting something deeply should be enough, that our prayers, vision boards, or affirmations alone will draw it in. But desire without emotional readiness is like planting seeds in frozen ground. No matter how good the seed, the soil must be prepared first. Wealth, love, success, they're all energy and they require a certain vibration to match. If your emotions are still anchored in fear, guilt, or unworthiness, no amount of wishing will make abundance stay. It might visit for a while, but it won't remain because you don't feel safe holding it. I remember hearing about a woman named Layla who won a large sum of money in a lottery. Overnight, she went from struggling to wealthy. Yet, within 2 years, it was all gone. Why? Because while her bank account changed, her emotional state hadn't. Deep down, she still felt poor. She still carried the belief that wealth was unstable, that she wasn't smart enough to manage it, that rich people lose themselves. So, she unconsciously created situations that matched her inner story. Bad investments, careless spending, toxic friendships. The universe doesn't give us what we want. It gives us what we are ready for. That readiness is emotional alignment. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows they can handle more. Imagine someone handing you a delicate glass filled to the brim with golden liquid. If your hands are shaking, you'll spill it. But if you're steady, calm, prepared, you'll hold it with ease. Wealth works the same way. When you are emotionally grounded, when your heart believes you are worthy of more, capable of managing more, and deserving of keeping more, you stop spilling opportunities. You begin to hold them with grace. One day, a young man asked his mentor, "Why haven't my affirmations worked yet? I've said them every day for 6 months." The mentor smiled and said, "Because your mouth is saying it, but your heart doesn't believe it." Those words cut deep. The man realized he was repeating positive phrases while still feeling unworthy inside. So instead of just saying, "I am abundant," he started asking himself, "What would it feel like to truly believe I am abundant?" That single shift changed everything. He began focusing not on the words, but on the emotions behind them. He practiced gratitude, released his guilt about wanting more, and slowly, he started to feel abundant before anything changed externally. And that's when the miracles began. Job offers, new clients, unexpected blessings. Emotional readiness is like tuning your inner frequency. If you feel poor, even millions won't make you rich inside. But when you feel abundant, the smallest opportunities multiply. The energy of wealth recognizes that calm confidence. It's drawn to it, like metal to a magnet. So instead of chasing money, focus on preparing yourself to hold it. Heal your fears, release your guilt, and expand your capacity to receive. Because when you are emotionally ready, what you once chased will start running toward you. Your language shapes your financial reality. Change your words, and your results follow. Most people don't realize how powerful their daily vocabulary is. The words they speak, even casually, are not just sounds. They are declarations, seeds planted into the soil of the subconscious mind. Every sentence carries an emotional charge, and over time, those charges build the atmosphere of your life. When you say, "I'm broke," the universe doesn't interpret that as a joke. It takes it as a command. When you say, "Money never stays with me," you are programming your reality to make sure it doesn't. Words are frequencies, and your life arranges itself to match the tune you keep singing. I once met a man named Harris, a small business owner who worked endlessly but couldn't seem to break past a certain income level. During a conversation, I noticed how often he said, "I'm trying. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to grow the business. I'm trying to survive." Those 2 words, "I'm trying," became his cage. Trying implies effort without achievement. It means struggling without receiving. I told him, "Stop trying and start declaring." He began to replace his language with, "I am creating a thriving business, and money flows through my work with ease." At first, it felt unnatural. But after weeks of repeating these new words, something shifted, not outside, but inside. He began approaching clients differently, making bolder decisions, and within months, his income doubled. It wasn't luck. It was linguistic alignment. The truth is, every time you speak, You're either reinforcing your limits or rewriting them. Think about a gardener who tends to her plants every morning. If she whispers, "You won't grow," those plants would wither under the weight of neglect. But if she nurtures them with care, saying, "You're blooming beautifully," she creates an environment of life. Your mind works the same way. It listens to the words you repeat and grows experiences that match them. As the philosopher Florence Scovel Shinn once wrote, "Your word is your wand." The language you use is not just description, it's creation. Consider the way wealthy people talk compared to those who constantly struggle. The wealthy often say, "There's always another opportunity," or "Money is easy to make when I enjoy what I do." The struggling say, "Nothing ever works for me," or "Life's unfair." These words become self-fulfilling prophecies. The first group programs their subconscious for abundance, while the second programs theirs for lack. The only difference between them is not luck or background. It's the frequency of their speech. If you start replacing your limiting language with empowering statements, your mind begins to search for proof to support them. That's how your reticular activating system works. It filters the world through the lens of your beliefs. Say, "I can't," and it will show you reasons why you can't. Say, "I can," and it will find ways to make it true. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I'm broke," switch it to, "I'm learning to manage money wisely." Replace "I can't afford this" with, "I'm creating the means to afford this." Your word become the brushstrokes painting your financial reality. Speak abundance, and soon you'll find yourself living in the picture you described all along. Abundance is like a radio frequency. When you tune in, you start hearing the music. The music was always there, invisible and constant, but until you adjust your dial, it remains silent to you. That's how the energy of wealth works. It's not that some people are chosen or lucky. It's that they've learned how to align their internal vibration with the rhythm of prosperity. They've tuned in. You see, the universe is always broadcasting abundance, but most people are stuck on the frequency of fear, doubt, and lack. They want wealth, but their emotional station is playing static. Every thought of "I can't," every complaint about struggle, every worry about bills, it all creates noise that blocks the clear sound of opportunity trying to reach them. Imagine walking through a crowded marketplace filled with voices shouting all at once. Somewhere in that noise, someone is calling your name, but you can't hear it clearly because your focus is scattered. That's how abundance tries to reach you. Softly, consistently, waiting for you to quiet your inner chaos long enough to listen. When you tune your inner world through gratitude, trust, and calm expectation, the static begins to fade, and suddenly, you start hearing whispers of new ideas, new paths, and new possibilities. You become magnetic to the things you once thought were out of reach. There was once a man named Yusuf who always said, "Nothing good ever happened to me." Every day, he repeated those words like a mantra. Life took him at his word. Missed opportunities, delayed payments, constant struggle. One morning, an old friend told him, "Your words are your frequency, and your frequency is your future." Those words stayed with him. He decided to change his approach. Each morning, he began saying, "Good things are always happening for me, even when I can't see them." At first, it felt like pretending, but slowly, something began to shift. He noticed little synchronicities. A stranger offered him a helpful connection. A long-forgotten client reached out, and his work began to flow smoother. What changed wasn't luck. It was alignment. He had tuned into a new frequency, and the universe responded. Think about musicians in an orchestra. If one instrument is out of tune, the entire piece feels off. But when every instrument aligns with the right key, harmony fills the room. Your mind, emotions, and words are the instruments of your life's orchestra. When they play together in harmony, when your thoughts, feelings, and actions resonate with abundance, the melody of wealth becomes audible and opportunities flow naturally toward you. The world doesn't reward confusion. It rewards clarity. When you tune your frequency to abundance, you stop asking, "Where's my success?" and start feeling successful already. That feeling becomes a magnet. You begin attracting people, ideas, and events that vibrate at the same level. Just like tuning a radio, it takes patience and awareness. But once you find your station, the music plays effortlessly. And once you hear that melody of abundance, you'll never settle for static again. You don't have to chase money. Align your energy and money will chase you. This is the secret most people never discover because they spend their whole lives running after wealth as if it were something hiding just beyond their reach. But chasing always comes from lack, from a belief that you don't have something and must go find it. The truth is, money is not something to pursue. It's something to attract. It's energy that flows to those who are in harmony with it, just like rivers flow effortlessly toward the ocean. When your inner world vibrates with calm confidence, gratitude, and purpose, money begins to flow naturally toward you. It feels drawn to you, like metal to a magnet, because it recognizes the frequency of someone who knows their worth. There was a man named Arif who worked day and night trying to make his business succeed. He was exhausted, frustrated, constantly thinking about bills, debts, and competitors. He couldn't sleep peacefully because his mind never stopped running after how to make more. One day, an older mentor told him, "You're chasing money with fear, not faith. Stop chasing and start aligning." Arif didn't understand at first, but the mentor explained, "When you chase, you tell the universe that what you seek is missing. When you align, you declare that it's already yours." Those words stayed in his heart. So Arif began shifting his energy. Instead of starting his day in panic, he started it in gratitude. He thanked life for what he already had, visualized his goals calmly, and worked with joy instead of pressure. Within months, everything began to change. New clients came effortlessly, old debts cleared, and unexpected opportunities appeared. He hadn't worked harder. He had worked from a higher vibration. Money, like any form of energy, senses resistance. When you worry, you push it away. When you chase it with desperation, it runs faster. But when you become still, focused, and grateful, it gravitates toward you. It's like trying to catch a butterfly. If you run after it wildly, it flies away. But if you sit still in the garden, it eventually lands on your hand. The stillness is not inactivity. It's trust. Trust that your value, your service, and your energy are enough to attract what's meant for you. Even the most successful people know this truth. They don't wake up asking, "How do I get more?" They wake up asking, "How can I serve better?" They know that money follows value, and value flows from a calm, inspired mind. The moment you stop chasing and start aligning your thoughts with gratitude, your actions with purpose, and your emotions with peace, you begin radiating a frequency that wealth cannot ignore. So instead of running after opportunities, become the kind of person opportunities run toward. When your heart, words, and energy are in harmony, money finds you easily, naturally, joyfully, because it always chases those who no longer need to chase IT.SO now. My friend, the choice is in your hands and your words. You can keep chasing wealth, hoping one day it will finally notice you, or you can pause, breathe, and become the kind of person it can't resist finding. Because wealth doesn't respond to fear. It responds to faith. It doesn't follow noise. It follows alignment. Say it with me. I am open to receive wealth in all its forms. Say it not as a wish, but as a declaration. Say it not as a hope, but as a truth already unfolding. Every time you speak those words, you move closer to the life that's been waiting for you. Every time you align your heart with abundance, the doors you thought were locked begin to open. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You stop chasing and you start attracting. Don't wait for tomorrow to believe you're worthy. Believe it now. Don't wait for proof. Become the proof. Let your energy, your thoughts, and your language rise to meet the level of the life you dream of. Because the moment you do, the universe will rush to meet you halfway. So tonight, when the world gets quiet and you're alone with your thoughts, whisper once more, I am open to receive wealth in all its forms. Whisper it with certainty. Whisper it with peace. Whisper it like someone who already knows they've won. Because the truth is simple. When your heart aligns with abundance, your support means everything. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And remember this, you won't have to chase wealth. It will chase you. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.